Far away from Earth, in a quiet corner of the galaxy, the small and gentle race known as the Elyari lived on a bright green world filled with rivers, forests, and tall mountains. They loved peace, knowledge, and music. Their cities floated above the ground, and their people lived without war for thousands of years. But everything changed when the Krylocks arrived. The Krylocks were not living beings. They were machines with cold minds made of steel and wires. They did not care for peace. They only wanted power and control. The Elyari were not ready for war. They had no weapons, no soldiers, and no defense. Their skies turned red with fire as the Krylocks attacked from above. Cities fell one by one. Families ran for their lives. The Elyari, who once believed in kindness and learning, now faced fear and death. In the last safe city, their leaders gathered and made a choice. They sent out a message into deep space. It was a call for help. They did not know if anyone would hear it, but they had no other hope. On Earth, deep under the ocean, a secret base waited in silence. The people who worked there were part of an old and hidden group. They called themselves the Shadow Corps. They trained for years to fight the unknown. These were not normal humans. They were Deathworlders, born on the most dangerous world in known space. Earth had storms, poison animals, and cruel history. It made its people strong, smart, and fast. Commander Lucas stood in the control room. He had strong eyes and a calm face. He listened to the strange alien message with care. Next to him, Nora, a quiet and sharp tech expert, watched the signal dance on her screen. Jason, the big and brave fighter, leaned on the wall, ready for action. Megan, the skilled pilot, sat near the ship controls. All of them knew what this message meant. "It is real," said Nora. A full cry for help. Not fake, not a trick. Lucas looked at the others. Then we answer, "Get the Nightfall ready. We leave in 6 hours." The Nightfall was not a big ship, but it was fast, quiet, and built for deep missions. As the crew prepared, the Earth stayed silent. Most of the world still did not know about other life in the stars. Oh, that secret was kept for a reason. Earth had hidden itself to stay safe. But now, someone needed help, and that was enough. When the Nightfall rose from the ocean and flew into space, the stars welcomed it like old friends. Megan guided the ship past moons and planets. Jason checked the weapons. Nora read more of the Elyari message. Lucas sat still, thinking. He remembered the early stories of Earth's past. Long wars, hunger, hate. But from that dark past came people who learned to survive anything. Now they would take that strength to another world. After days of travel, they reached the Elyari system. The planet below looked beautiful from space, but as they got closer, they saw the truth. Black smoke covered the sky. Great cities lay in ruins. Fires burned in the forests. The Krylocks had done this. Machines moved across the land with red lights and sharp claws. They hunted the last of the Elyari. "This is not war," Jason said. "This is a hunt, and we stop it," Lucas replied. The Nightfall landed in a hidden valley. The team stepped out in their dark armor. They moved fast and quiet. They found a group of Elyari hiding in an old library. The aliens were small, with soft blue skin and large eyes full of fear. One of them stepped forward and looked up at Lucas. "Are you ... here to help us?" the Elyari asked. Lucas nodded. "Yes, we came from Earth. We heard your cry." Tears fell from the aliens' eyes. No one had come before, or no one had dared to face the Krylocks. But now, from the shadows, the Deathworlders had arrived. This was not just a rescue. This was the start of something greater. A new story was beginning. One written not with soft words, but with action, courage, and fire. The machines would learn fear. The Elyari would learn to fight, and the Deathworlders would remind the galaxy what Earth was made of. The Nightfall stood hidden under the trees of the Elyari world. Smoke rose far away. In the quiet valley, the team fixed their gear and checked their weapons. The Elyar watched them with wide eyes. They had never seen humans before. To them, humans looked strong and strange. They had hard faces and steady hands. They moved with care, but every step showed power. Commander Lucas gave out orders. "Jason, guard the ship. Nora, gather data. Megan, prepare for launch if needed. The Elyari leader, a thin elder named Krylocks, came to Lucas. We are not warriors, he said. We do not know how to fight. Lucas looked at him. Then you will learn, or you will fall. Krylocks nodded slowly. He knew the truth. His people were dying. Krylocks did not show mercy. They hunted, captured, and took what they wanted. They did not speak, they did not ask. The Elyari were nothing to them. Nora sat near an old machine and opened her tablet. She linked it to the broken data lines of the city. Her fingers moved fast. The Elyari tech was old but clever. She found messages, maps, and power logs. Then she found something more, a cold signal deep under the ground. Commander, she called. I found where the Krylocks came from. Their base is on the dark side of the moon. That is where they send their harvest ships. That is where they store everything they take. Lucas listened. Can we stop them? Not yet, Nora said. But if we study the signal more, we may find a weak point. Jason walked through the ruins with 2 Elyari guides. He saw broken walls, burnt books, and melted statues. He had seen war before, but this felt different. This was cold and exact. The Krylocks had not just attacked, they had erased. Why did they do this? One Elyari asked. Because they can, Jason said. Machines without fear do not need a reason. They only need a target. At night, the humans and Elyari sat by small lights. Megan spoke to a young Elyari named Keva. The child looked sad but curious. Why did you come? Keva asked. Because you asked, Megan said. And someone always should answer when the weak cry for help. The next morning, Lucas called everyone to the main square. He stood on a broken platform and looked at the Elyari crowd. You must stand, he said. You must fight. We will teach you. Not just weapons, but how to move, how to think, how to last. The Krylocks are strong, but we are stronger. Not because of size or metal, but because we care, because we choose to protect. The Elyari were afraid, but they listened. The training began. Jason taught them how to use simple weapons. Megan showed them how to move without noise. Nora gave them maps and signals. It was hard, but the Elyari learned fast. Their hands were weak, but their hearts were strong. Days passed. In the sky, the Krylocks ships still flew. But now, some of them were shot down. The Elyari had learned to hide and strike. He had hope again. Then came the news. A large Krylocks ship had landed not far from their valley. It was searching. It was close. Lucas gathered the team. We strike first. Cannot let them find this place. Jason smiled. Finally, the nightfall rose into the sky. Megan flew it low and fast. Under the ship, Lucas, Jason, and Nora dropped into the forest near the Krylocks camp. They moved like shadows. The machines did not expect an attack. The humans hit fast. Jason used his blade and hands. Lucas shot with calm aim. Nora placed a device near the main power source. A bright light flashed. The camp shook. The Krylocks fell back. The humans escaped before more could come. Back in the valley, the Elyari cheered. For the first time, the Krylocks had lost. Lucas stood with Krylocks. This is only the start. We have much to do. But you are not alone now. Krylocks looked at the stars. The galaxy will remember this. The day the shadows came to save the light, the war was not over, but the fight had begun. The Deathworlders would not stop until the Elyari were safe, and the machines were gone. The sky was dark with gray clouds as the nightfall flew over broken cities. Smoke still rose from the ground. The Elyari world had changed. It's once full of peace and music, now it was filled with fire and fear. But something new had begun. Hope had returned. The humans had brought it. Commander Lucas stood on the ship's ramp, watching the ground below. The ship landed near an old tower. This place was once the heart of Elyari knowledge. Now, it was a ruin, but some people had survived. Lucas stepped out with Jason and Nora. They moved through broken stone halls until they reached a hidden room. Inside were the Elyari leaders. Their faces were thin and tired. One of them stepped forward. Her name was Seville. She was young but wise. She looked at Lucas. You came from the stars, she said. You are not like us. No, Lucas said. We come from a world of storms and fire, but we know how to survive, and we came because you needed help." Seville nodded. "We did not think anyone would come." Jason looked around. "We heard your voice, and we came. It's all that matters now." Seville led them to the center of the room. A map of the planet lit up. "The Krylocks are moving again," she said. "They search for power sites and memory banks. They want to take everything." Nora studied the map. "If we don't act, they will find the core cities. We have to slow them down." Inside the tower, Megan stayed with the ship. She checked the weapons and watched the skies. The ship was ready to move fast if needed. She looked out and saw a group of young Elyari standing near. One small girl stepped closer. "Are you a warrior?" the girl asked. Megan smiled. "Fly. I fight. I protect. You are not afraid." Megan looked at her. "I feel fear, but I don't run from it. That's what makes someone strong." The girl nodded slowly. Her name was Elia. She had lost her family. Now she stayed near Megan, wanting to learn. Back inside, Lucas and Seville talked more. "We must train faster," Lucas said. "And we need to learn how the Krylocks move. We need to know their plans." "I have something," Seville said. She opened a drawer and pulled out a small device. "We found this in a broken ship. Think it is a Krylock memory unit." Nora took it. Her fingers worked fast. The screen lit up. Lines of code and maps showed up. "This is a big find." Shows their next targets. And it shows where their command unit is hiding. Lucas looked at the screen. "We take the fight to them, one step at a time." That night, the Elyari and humans sat together. They shared food. They talked. The Elyari asked about Earth. They had never heard of such a world. Jason told them stories of wild lands and strong people. He told them how humans had learned to fight through pain and loss. "Your world sounds harsh," one Elyari said. "It is," Jason said. "But it made us who we are. It's why we can help you now." The next morning, training began again. The Elyari learned fast. They ran, climbed, and practiced with simple weapons. Lucas watched them. He saw the change in their eyes. They were still afraid, but they were not broken. Megan flew short missions, mapping the land. She found more groups of Elyari and brought them to safety. Elia stayed close, learning everything she could. Megan showed her how to use a scanner and how to stay calm. "You're brave," Megan told her. "I want to help," Elia said. Nora studied the memory unit. She found a hidden code. It showed a path deep into the moon base. She brought it to Lucas. "This is it," she said. "We now have a way in." Lucas looked at the team. "Then we move soon. We'll strike their heart. We will not let them win." In the ruins of a broken world, something strong was rising. The Elyari had found their voice. The Deathworlders had given them a chance. And the machines, so cold and proud, were about to face something they had never known before. A people who would not kneel. A world that refused to die. A fire that burned in silence, waiting to be set free. The nightfall rose into the sky, its black shape cutting through the clouds. The crew was ready. The time for waiting had passed. The time to fight had come. They had a target now, the Krylocks command hub on the dark side of the moon. Inside the ship, Lucas checked the plan again. Nora had mapped a clear path. Jason packed his gear and checked each weapon. Megan flew with steady hands, her eyes fixed ahead. "Once we land, no mistakes," Lucas said. "We hit hard, hit fast, then get out." "Simple," Jason said. "Just how I like it." Nora looked up from her screen. "Their systems are cold and smart. We wait too long, they will trap us." The ship flew past the moon. The team saw the base. It was built into the rocks, almost invisible from space. Only sharp eyes could see the lines of metal and towers hidden in shadow. Megan brought the nightfall down near a ridge. The ship stayed hidden behind rocks. The team left in silence. Each step was planned. Each move was sharp. They reached a side door covered in dust. Nora used a small tool to open it. The door slid open with a soft sound. Inside, the air was still and cold. They moved through the dark halls. The walls were smooth metal. Lights blinked on the sides. No sounds, no voices. Lucas led the way. Nora followed, reading signals. Jason stayed close behind, watching every corner. They reached the core room. This is it, Nora whispered. Their mind sits here. Jason placed charges. Nora placed a virus chip into a port. The system blinked. They know, Nora said. We have 5 minutes. From the halls, machines came. Tall, fast, and deadly. Red lights on their heads. Sharp limbs ready to strike. Jason stood in the middle and fired. One machine fell. Another jumped. Lucas shot it down. Nora stayed close to the wall, keeping the virus running. More Krylocks came. Megan's voice came through the radio. Get out now. I'm bringing the ship. Lucas gave the signal. Fall back now. Jason tossed a flash bomb. The room filled with white light. They ran through the smoke. The machines chased them, but the team knew the way. Outside, the nightfall hovered low. The ramp opened. Megan shouted, "Jump!" They leaped onto the ramp. Jason grabbed Nora as she slipped. Lucas fired back at the machines before the ramp closed. The nightfall pulled away, just as the charges inside the base exploded. Fire rose behind them. The whole side of the moon lit up. Cheers filled the ship. They had done it. The command hub was gone. Back on the Elyari world, the news spread fast. For the first time, the machines had lost a main base. The Elyari danced in the streets. Children sang again. The fear was not gone, but it was weaker now. Lucas stood with Relov. This is just one win, but it shows they can bleed. Relov nodded. You gave us hope. Now we believe. Jason trained a new group of Elyari fighters. He moved through drills, showing them how to hold weapons, how to keep balance, how to move without sound. You don't need to be strong, he told them. You need to be smart. You need to be ready. Nora worked on the virus data. She saw changes in the Krylocks code. The machines were confused. Their network was slow. They had lost something they didn't expect. We broke more than their walls, she told Lucas. We broke their rhythm. Megan flew rescue runs. She picked up more survivors, brought back parts from broken ships, and guided new fighters to safe places. Ilya stayed with her. The small girl learned fast. She helped with tools and kept watch. Megan let her sit in the pilot seat sometimes. One day Megan said, "You might fly this ship." "I want to help," Ilya said. Night came again. The stars above seemed brighter. The Elyari had lost so much, but now they had something more. A reason to fight, reason to stand. The Deathworlders had come from the shadows, and they had changed the war. But deep in space, the Krylocks were not finished. They were building again. Stronger, smarter, angry. Lucas looked at the sky. He knew this was only the beginning. More battles would come, but they would be ready. Earth had answered a call. Now the galaxy would learn why Deathworlders were feared. The days after the moon strike were busy. The Elyari trained harder. The humans fixed the ship and gathered new maps. But even as the air felt lighter, something dark moved in the background. Nora sat alone in the control room. She looked at the data from the Krylok base. The virus had done its work, but now she saw something strange. A signal. It was not Krylok. It came from inside one of the Elyari cities. It had sent a message before the machines arrived. She called Lucas. Someone told the Krylocks where to go, she said. This was not just chance. Lucas frowned. You think there is a traitor? Yes, Nora said. Someone gave them the Elyar location. Lucas called the team together. Jason stood tall, arms crossed. Megan looked confused. Why would anyone help the machines? Maybe fear, Nora said. Or power. But we need to find them, they told Relov. He looked shocked, but not surprised. There were whispers. Some said we should give in. Others wanted to escape. Maybe one of them chose a dark path. Lucas sent Jason to speak with the fighters. Megan flew to nearby camps. Nora kept watching the signal, following its path. Jason found a small group of Elyari who had left training. One of them, a thin male named Kellen, looked nervous. Jason stepped close. He ran from the fight. Kellen shook his head. I didn't want this. I didn't help them. I just wanted to leave. Jason stared at him. Leaving is not a crime, but hiding truth is. Did you hear anyone speak with the machines? Kellen nodded slowly. There was a woman. She called herself Lyra. She said the machines would spare her. Jason told Lucas. Nora searched the name. She found Lyra's trail in the signal. She had sent the location of the city days before the first attack. "We need to find her," Lucas said. Megan flew to the ruins of an old science tower. That was the last place Lyra had visited. She landed in silence. The building was broken, but still standing. Inside, the air was still. Machines were dead. Tables were covered in dust. Megan moved slowly. Then she saw a light. A small device was active in the corner. She stepped closer. The screen showed a message. "They will come, and I will rise," was Lyra's voice. "She's not here," Megan said over the radio. But she left something. A beacon. Nora checked the signal again. That beacon is connected to something old. Wait, ... It's Earth tech. Lucas stared at her. "What do you mean, Earth tech?" "A piece of old Earth code is inside the Krylocks system. It helped them grow." The room went silent. Long ago, Earth sent a ship into deep space. "It vanished," Lucas said. "Maybe the machines found it," Nora said. "Used the parts. Used the code. That's why their system feels familiar." Jason stepped forward. "So we helped create them?" "By accident," Lucas said. "But now it's our job to stop them." The team met with Rylev again. They told him about the old Earth code. He listened carefully. "Then your people have more power than we thought," Rylev said. "We hid for a reason," Lucas replied. "But now, that reason is gone." The next morning, the Nightfall flew to the high mountains. That was where the main signal had been sent. Deep inside the rocks, they found a small lab. Cold lights flickered. Lyra was there. She stood tall, her face calm. "Warned them," she said, but they would not listen. "The machines are the future." "You helped them kill your people," Jason said. "I helped them live," she said. "They will keep records. They will remember us." "You gave them death," Lucas said. Lyra smiled. "I gave them time." Jason moved fast. He grabbed her arm. She did not fight. They took her back to the valley. Rylev watched her with sad eyes. "You were one of us." "I still am," she said. "It's just not yours." That night, the team sat together. They looked at the stars. The war was bigger now. The enemy was not just metal, it was fear, doubt, and the past. But they had each other, and the fire inside them still burned. The Deathworlders had come to fight. But now they would also face the truth of what their world had left behind. The sky above the Elyari world was quiet, but inside the Nightfall, the team was busy. The truth about the Earth code inside the Krylocks had changed everything. They knew now that the machines were heading for Earth next, and if Earth fell, no one would be safe. Lucas stood in the center of the ship. He looked at the stars on the screen. "They will come for us," he said. "So we give them what they want. We make them follow us." Jason looked up. "We take the fight away from the Elyari." "Yes," Lucas said. "We use Earth as bait. But not the real Earth, just a signal, something strong enough to pull them away." Nora started working on the plan. She used the old Earth code from the Krylocks system. She created a new signal, one that looked like it came from Earth. It had the same patterns, the same power. She sent it out into deep space. "They will follow it," she said. "It will take them far from here, but we must be ready for the final strike." The Elyari had changed. They were no longer weak. They trained, they built, and they stood beside the humans. Even children helped. They made tools, gathered supplies, and carried messages. The world was not the same anymore. Megan stood with Elia on a hill. The stars above them looked cold. "Are they coming now?" Elia asked. "Yes," Megan said, "but we will be ready. Will you go? We all will, but you must stay safe. This fight is not yours yet." Elia held her hand. "Come back," Megan nodded. The Nightfall flew again. It joined with small Elyari ships. Together, they moved toward the Dead Star system, where the Krylocks were gathering. The plan was simple. The Nightfall would lead the charge. The Elyari ships would strike fast. Nora would send the virus again. Jason and Lucas would attack the command ship. As they entered the Dead Star system, they saw them. Krylock ships, dark and cold, floating like a black sea. The biggest one was in the center. That was the target. "Go now," Lucas said. No fear, no turning back. Megan flew the ship low. The Nightfall slipped through the enemy lines. Nora sent the virus. Lights on the Krylocks ships blinked. Some turned away. Others moved without control. Jason and Lucas dropped from the Nightfall onto the main carrier. They moved through the metal halls. Machines blocked their path. Jason fought with fire in his eyes. Lucas shot with perfect aim. Inside the control room, they found the core. It pulsed with red light. The Earth code was still there. Nora spoke through the radio. Place the charge. When it blows, the virus will spread fully. It will break their minds. Lucas nodded. Jason planted the charge. They turned to run, but the door closed. A machine, bigger than any they had seen, stepped out. Its arms were long, its face blank. "You are not needed," it said. "You are weak." Jason stood in front. "No, we are human." He ran at the machine. The fight was hard. Jason took hits but did not fall. Lucas found a weak spot and fired. The machine dropped. It ran. The walls shook. Fire followed them. The Nightfall picked them up as the charge blew. A wave of red light filled space. The virus took full control. Krylocks ships turned on each other. Some crashed. Others stopped moving. The Elyari cheered. The battle was turning. Back on the Nightfall, Jason sat with a cut on his arm. He smiled. "We did it." Lucas looked at the screen. "We bought time. That is enough." The Elyari ships landed again. Fires burned in the sky, but victory was in their eyes. Children ran out to meet the returning fighters. Leah found Megan and hugged her tight. "You came back. I said I would." Krylocks stood beside Lucas. "You gave us more than strength. You gave us a future." Lucas looked at the stars. "Let them come. Let the galaxy know. Deathworlders stand for more than war. We stand for those who cannot." But even now, in deep space, some Krylocks survived. They were rebuilding, learning. The final battle was near. The last stand was coming. Earth would be ready. The air on the Elyari world was quiet again, but the people knew it was not over. The Krylocks had lost the last battle, but some of them had escaped. They were hiding in deep space, growing stronger. Everyone could feel it. A final storm was coming. In the valley, the Elyari rebuilt their homes. Children played again. Fighters trained every day. But their eyes still looked to the stars. Inside the Nightfall, Lucas and his team met for the last time. Nora had tracked the last Krylocks signal. It came from a space field near a dying sun. The machines had built one last stronghold. "This is it," Lucas said. "Their final base. We end it now." Jason stood and nodded. "Let's make it count," Nora added. "The virus is ready, stronger than before. But once we get inside, it will spread fast." Megan looked at the map. "This place is filled with rocks and old wrecks. We'll need to move fast," they told Relove. The Elyar leader placed a hand on Lucas's shoulder. "We will fly with you." Elyar ships joined the Nightfall. A fleet moved into space, quiet and strong. They followed the signal across stars and dust until they reached the edge of the dying sun. There, the Krylok base waited. Black towers floated above broken ships. Red lights moved in the dark. "All units prepare," Lucas said. "We go in now. No second chance." The final battle began. Megan flew the Nightfall through enemy fire. Lasers flashed. Rocks exploded. Elyar ships followed close behind, dodging blasts and firing back. Nora sent the virus through the signal net. Some machines turned on each other. Others pushed forward. Jason and Lucas landed near the core tower. They moved fast through fire and smoke. Machines blocked their path, but Jason fought like a storm. Lucas covered him, each shot clean and sharp. Inside the main hall, they found the core. A tall machine stood before it, bigger than all others. It spoke. "You are broken creatures. Your time is over." Lucas stepped forward. "We are not broken. We stand for others. That is why we win." The machine attacked. Jason blocked its arm with his own. Sparks flew. The fight was long. Lucas planted the virus drive into the core. Nora spoke in their ears. "It's working." 5 seconds. The core shook. Lights went red. The machine roared. Jason grabbed a broken beam and struck the core. The light burst. The machines froze. Outside, ships stopped. The red lights turned dark. The Elyari cheered. Back on the Nightfall, the team returned. Jason was hurt, but alive. Megan flew the ship away from the sun. Behind them, the last Krylok base broke apart. The war was over. Weeks passed. The Elyari built new cities. Their stories changed, and now spoke of strength, not fear, of standing, not hiding. Ryloth met with Lucas. We are not the same people now. We will remember Earth. We will remember your team. Lucas looked at the sky. Keep building, keep standing. The galaxy ever forgets, remind them. The nightfall flew back toward Earth, silent, fast, unseen. Earth was still hidden from the stars. But now it was no longer afraid. On the ship, Megan spoke into a recorder. This mission was not about power. It was not about revenge. It was about choice. We chose to answer a call. We chose to protect. Nora placed the virus core into a vault. The danger is not gone. But we are ready. Next time, we will not wait. Jason sat beside Elia, who had joined them for a short time to learn. She looked at him. You still fight? Jason smiled. Not today. Today we rest. Elia nodded. One day I will fight too. I believe you, Jason said. Earth stayed in the shadows. But the galaxy had changed. Whispers moved from one world to another. Stories spread fast. They spoke of metal monsters and burning skies. But they also spoke of the Deathworlders, humans who came from a world of fire and storms. Humans who stood when others fell. Humans who fought not for gold, not for glory, but for those who could not fight alone. And far away, where stars still burned and dust still moved, a new light began to rise. The future was open. The path was unknown. But the Deathworlders were watching, and they would always be ready.